Ladies and gentlemen, gamers, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be all about player profiles releasing in the Emerald Bear update. This was a post released by Relic about 1 hour ago, so I'm going to take it from the top here, and then we'll get into a little discussion about what's to come. Player profiles are coming next week in the Emerald Bear update. They can be accessed by clicking on your own portrait at the top of the screen in the main menu, or by clicking the portrait of another player. You can also find it by clicking the button next to the name of a player in several different menus. Now that button they're referring to is this button right here, as you can see. This circle with the 3 little dots. Player profiles will contain information about ranked match ratings, rank, aka rank level for those familiar with the web leaderboards, and some statistics about matches. Like our web leaderboards, ELO, a rating system measuring skill level, is per faction per match size, meaning that you have a separate rating and rank for 4v4 American and 1v1 American. The reason for this is to encourage players to experiment with different factions and strategies without impacting their score for the others. We understand that you may have a favorite and don't want to lose standing for switching it up once in a while. I think that's great. It's a great feature to have. If we click on this overview here, we can see quick match ratings. So my eyes immediately move towards this new faction logo. It looks great. It's much improved over the current iteration. And this is going to be shown on every player profile based on their most played faction. So this is not based on what faction they're currently playing or played in the match. This is the most played faction, so it's going to show there along with the hours played, which is very cool. And then as you guys can see here, every single different mode, 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, and 4v4, is going to show the different rankings of that player. So as you can see, 1v1, this player is gold 2, in 2v2, he's challenger 2, in 3v3, he's bronze 2, and in 4v4, he's bronze 3. So it's going to have a breakdown of the win rate, the games, and the top faction in that mode, which is really cool. And then as you can see here, we have an overview of the player profile. So up here is the overview tab. Down here is the statistics tab. And the statistics tab is going to have a little tab where you can switch between the match, the mode, the game mode, 1v1 to 4v4, and then the faction. So in this instance, of course, it's Wehrmacht 4v4 quick match, and that's going to be 4 matches won, 12 matches lost, 16 total matches, of course, a win streak of 1 game, a win percentage of 25%, and 5.28 hours played with this faction in 4v4, an ELO of 926, and then, of course, the current ranking, which is bronze 3. Very cool. As we continue down here, your profile will also contain info about co-op versus AI. Although this mode does not have a rating, you can still measure your wins and losses and track hours played per faction. Pretty cool. So once again, that's going to show US forces, 2v2, co-op versus AI, and a whole breakdown as we just discussed. Okay. You can jump directly to the web leaderboards from the player profile, which we hope helps the visibility of our competitive community and also helps new players join in the competition. Some additional changes coming along with player profiles include players now have ranking for their quick match ELO rating, see below, updated artwork for faction icons, added ELO rating change, and rank icons to the post-match stats screen. Only the current players' change will be shown, but all players' ELO and rank is displayed. Okay, interesting. So as you guys can see here, we're going to have, you have that tab, that little button, which you can click on after the match has been won or lost, the match stats. You'll be able to click on that little button there, be able to pull up all the statistics we were just looking at. But as you can see, you could still see the player ranking, and then you can see how much they acquired here, which is plus 158. And then you can see on the other side here, 1499 ranking, their ranking, and then you can also click on the little button there as well. So pretty cool. And in a large 4v4 game, there's going to be, it'd be cool to be able to quickly and easily access those player profiles and just get an idea of what you're up against, and so forth. Okay, continuing on, ranking system. Multiplayer quick match rating now gives players a league and tiering based on their ELO as follows. This corresponds with the rank levels previously displayed on the leaderboard. Placement. New players start here. Play a few matches and you'll move into a specific league and tier. You will need 10 matches for each faction in a specific game mode to earn a rank. Okay, easy enough. And as you guys can see here, we have the entire progression system. So Brass 3 is 0 to 299 rating, Brass 2, 300 to 599 rating, brass 1 600 to 799 rating, and so forth. So it's gonna have, it looks like 3 tiers for brass, 3 tiers for bronze, 3 tiers for iron, and so forth. Silver, gold, and then Challenger actually is gonna have 5 tiers. So 1600 plus. Interesting. Okay, so Challenger 5 is 1600 plus rating, top 50 players. So what, I wonder if a player is in the top 50 but is not 1600 yet, would they still be Challenger 5? It doesn't really matter. Eventually they'll probably get up to 1600, but I'm assuming Challenger 5 will be unlocked at 1600 plus. Okay, and then Challenger 4, 1600 plus rating, top 25. Challenger 3, 1600 plus, top 10. Challenger 2, 1600 plus rating, top 5. And then Challenger 1, 1600 plus rating, current top player. Interesting. Really cool. I like that there's different tiers in the Challenger. And then, it looks here, Gold 1, 1600 rating, but not in the top 50. Oh, okay, so that answers my question. So Gold 1, 1600 plus rating, but not in the top 50 players per leaderboard. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, so that will obviously become a factor later on. Player profiles FAQ. Question, ranking. I thought it was an unranked mode. This was a difficult choice for us. While we would love to have a separate ranked mode, we also want to support players who queued up for co-op versus AI, plus all the different combinations of faction and match size for both multiplayer PvP and co-op. Each queue splits the player base and has the potential to lengthen queue times. We know that you value shorter queue times and don't want to lengthen them by splitting the queues even more. In addition, we are currently sticking to the historical realism of enforcing Axis versus allies, so it is possible for one side or the other to have a longer wait time. Adding a separate queue would put more pressure on this. Instead, we've opted to keep a single set of multiplayer queues and change the wording in-game to remove references to unranked, as this was misleading. We already have web leaderboards for the quick match queue, and we intend to maintain that. It made more sense to expose the fact that quick match is ranked in a way that is easily accessible in the game, rather than it being a feature that players discover through the community. I think that's good. Question, will you reset the leaderboards? Please reset it in the future. This was another tricky one. We've decided not to reset the leaderboards at this time. Although there was not an in-game ranking system before, members of our competitive community worked hard to top the web leaderboards, and we don't want to reset progress without a reason such as changing the underlying way that ranks are calculated. Since the reset of player profiles does not change the underlying system, only expose it, it did not make sense to reset everyone's progress. Okay, that makes perfect sense. I think this is a good way for them to initially roll this out. I hope there will be resets in the future, like seasons. But I think that's the next question. Okay, ranks, leagues, does this mean there will be seasons or seasonal resets? Currently, no. We were focused on adding player profiles as soon as possible, as this was one of the big community requests we've been getting since the game launched. It was more important to us to get this into players' hands sooner rather than develop a more complex seasonal system. This means that for now, ELO is persistent and does not reset. It also means that placement is a one-time status per leaderboard. Okay, so right now, obviously, there's going to be no resets, no seasons, but I think they're saying that it's open and on the table for the future, which I would really like to see. I would love to have like an overall progression since the beginning of launch, which is kind of what they're saying. Players have been playing since launch. Why reset now? But what would be cool is to have a full calendar ranking from the beginning of launch, and then as seasons are introduced, you could have that, of course, ranking and ELO being reset for the season. That way you can still see the full progress, but also have the micro progress from season to season, which I think would be awesome in the future. And that's pretty much it, guys. So pretty quick. I wanted to cover this as it was just released, and this is going to be coming very soon, next week. Let's go ahead and just quickly, I'm curious what the comments are saying here. Sounds great. Can't wait for the update. One question, will there still be the plus 0 points ELO? As a high rank, I am faced with a rank 200 and get no points for the game. It would be nice to get at least 1. Okay, that's interesting. Plus 0 points. So yeah, plus 0 points ELO is kind of a bummer, right? Interesting if after the match sets are still also be available only if the host not close them. Yeah, it should be. It should absolutely still be available no matter what. Lovely new faction icons. And can't wait to flip my socks when I see a challenger rank popping up to tell me why I'm losing. That's awesome. Yeah, the new faction icons are awesome. They look way, way better than the current iteration. Okay, I prefer the old ranking system up to level 20. I hate to be that guy, but this is a huge mistake. When StarCraft 2 launched, they did the exact same thing and ended up changing it due to a player's mindset. The lower rank in SDO at launch was Copper League, similar to Brass. They ended up scrapping the Copper League and just moved everything else down. I know it sounds silly, but it actually worked, giving the lower level players a little more confidence. Plus, it sounds so much better to average players, since average would be gold and silver. Oh, yeah, I see. So he's basically saying that they should consolidate these lower ranks. Yeah, I mean, that's such a minor point. It doesn't really matter. But I do remember this in StarCraft. They had the Copper League, similar to Brass, and then they eventually just consolidated into the lowest Bronze League in StarCraft. So in this situation, yeah, he's basically saying that this would make more sense than the current iteration, which has Brass. So he's basically saying remove that, which I can see there's consolidation is nice and clean, but again, very minor point, guys. The overall thing here is that this new ranking system is going to have some great player profiles and progression for us to actually follow, much more incentive to play. Hopefully there's even better integration with the merit system and the store. I would love to see that tied with the player profiles, the rankings, unlocking different content. I think would be great. So guys, if you did enjoy this, go ahead and smash the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about these player profiles coming in a few days, what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see in the future. And I'll see you guys on the next one.